British Ambassador Mark Lyall Grant must have heard a mouthful in a closed-door UN Security Council briefing on Wednesday. When he emerged, he went a long way toward acknowledging that armed gangs are killing civilians and sowing chaos in Syria, even if he says they're only recently engaged.
Yes, there are clearly terrorist elements at work in Syria, but why is that the case? That was not the case several months ago.
UN officials from Special Envoy Kofi Annan to Peacekeeping Chief Herve Ladsous have acknowledged the deadly role that armed gangs are playing. Russian Ambassador Vitaly Churkin made the point, however, that those armed gangs have been working to create problems in Syria since the beginning of the unrest.
One of the briefers also used the phrase mingling with civilians. Armed fighters are mingling with civilians. To us, this is not a new phenomenon. Armed groups were taking, or armed people were trying to take advantage of peaceful demonstrators and demonstrations in order to push their violent agenda.
U.S. Ambassador Susan Rice made no concessions, blaming Friday's Houla massacre on Syrian government forces. She hinted at possible unilateral moves outside the council.
Members of this council and members of the international community are left with the option only of having to consider whether they're prepared to take actions outside of the Annan plan and the authority of this council.
Now, Western delegates called for unity on the Security Council, hinting that Russia and China shouldn't stand in the way of stronger council action on Syria. The Russian Ambassador Vitaly Churkin, however, scotched that, saying that the unity is there, but that if member states don't stop providing guns and money to armed gangs in Syria, progress is impossible. The last man up was Syrian Ambassador Bashar Jafari. He says that a Syrian government investigation is underway on last Friday's murders in Houla, but he adds that the reasons for the killings there are crystal clear.
Those who committed this crime, they did it on purpose to ignite a civil war, because in these three villages you have three different sects of people. You have Muslim Sunnis, you have Muslim Shiite, you have Muslim Alawite. Those who triggered this and ignited this massacre were seeking to ignite a confessional and a sectarian confrontation between the populations in that area. So those who did it are professional criminals, professional terrorists.
Jafari added that the results of that investigation will be delivered in 2 days. After Tuesday's expulsion of Syrian diplomats by the U.S., Jafari, as UN delegate, remains one of the only Syrian officials in New York. On that point, Russian Ambassador Churkin says that steps should be taken by the U.S. and the other nations that followed suit to ensure that the expulsions aren't misinterpreted. Hank Flynn, Press TV, New York.